Welcome to English Poetry with Tanya, where we break down poems simply, clearly, and meaningfully. Before we begin, just a quick note. You might hear some traffic noise or the sound of fan in the background, and I apologize for that. I do not have a soundproof setup, but thank you for bearing with that. Before we begin the poem, let's understand the poet. Percy Bysshe Shelley was one of the before we begin the poem, let's understand the poet. Percy Bysshe Shelley was one of the major romantic poets of early 19th century. The romantic poets they focused on emotion, imagination, nature, and also questioned authority and power. Shelley, in particular, was known for his radical ideas. He often criticized political power, tyranny, and the arrogance of rulers. An interesting and important detail about Shelley's life is that he was married to Mary Shelley, who is famously known as the author of Frankenstein and is often considered the mother of science. This literary background makes Shelley part of a very intellectually rich and influential circle. Now, back to the poem Ozymandias. Ozymandias reflects Shelley's ideas about power, pride, and the inevitable decline of all human achievements. Now, let's begin the poem line by line. I met a traveler from an antique land. The poem begins with a speaker narrating a story told by a traveler. So this creates a layered structure. The poet was Shelley, the speaker, and the traveler. This distancing is important. It makes the story feel historical and universal. Who said two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert near them on the side? Now, the traveler describes a ruined such trunkless legs. This means the body is missing. The image immediately suggests decay, incompleteness, and destruction. The setting here is of a desert, and desert it shows emptiness, isolation, and timelessness. Half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command. The face of the statue is broken and half buried. Notice the detailed description frown, wrinkled lip, sneer. These expressions they show arrogance, authority, cruelty, cold command. It suggests a, a ruler who is harsh and emotionless. Tone here becomes critical and slightly ironic. Tell that its sculpture well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. Now, this is a very important idea. The sculptor, he understood the king's personality very well. Even though the statue is broken, the emotions, which are arrogance and pride, they remain visible. This suggests art. Art outlives power. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. This line is complex. The hand that mocked them. This refers to the sculptor. Okay? Mocked. Mocked here has two meanings. It means both uh, imitated and possibly subtly criticized. The heart that fed. This refers to the king's ego. So we have the artist capturing the ruler and the ruler's own pride being exposed. Now comes the most famous part. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Now, Ozymandias, it refers to powerful Egyptian ruler, King of Kings. This shows extreme pride and authority. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. This is a command. He is telling he's telling other powerful rulers, look at my chief and feel inferior. The tone here is proud, commanding, arrogant. Now here comes the twist. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. This is the core irony of the poem. The king's great works, they're gone. All that remains is ruins and empty desert. Colossal wreck. Colossal wreck refers to something that was great, but now it is destroyed. Boundless and bare means endless emptiness. The vast desert contrasts sharply with the king's claims of greatness. Now let's step back and analyze the poem. The tone, it begins narrative and neutral. In the middle, it becomes descriptive and critical. And at the end, it's ironic, almost mock. The mood is mysterious, reflective, and slightly haunting. The structure is story within a story. It creates distance and universality. The poetic devices that have been used here are irony, which is the central device here, imagery. We see imagery of desert, broken statue, alliteration is also there, boundless and bare. Symbolism, because the statue it symbolizes human power, and juxtaposition, power versus decay. The themes that have been used here, that the temporary nature of power. No matter how powerful a ruler is, time destroys everything. The arrogance of rulers. Ozymandias, he represents pride and ego. Then the power of time. Time is stronger than any human achievement. Then we have art versus power. The sculptor's work, it survives, while the king's empire doesn't. So this is a very strong interpretation. The artist outlives the ruler. So this poem is not just about a ruined statue. It is about the illusion of power. Ozymandias believed his greatness would last forever. But all that remains is silence, sand, and a broken image of his pride. And that is what makes this poem so powerful and timeless. If this helped you understand the poem better, subscribe for more clear and detailed poetry explanations. Thank you.